Or a kid will tell you, this lesson sucks. And you're just like, but I didn't sleep, so I can make this lesson perfect for you. Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit different than what I've been posting on our channel before. This video is going to be focused on my career as a teacher. This is going to be one of the first videos in a series of like teacher videos, I guess you can say. So we're going to get right into it. This video is going to be 10 things that I personally wish that I knew before I became a teacher. So this September, the 4th, so like in 2 weeks, I will be starting my 9th year in the classroom as a high school teacher. I will be teaching 9th graders this year. Throughout my career, I have taught all 4 grades, 9 through 12. I've always taught high school. Spent 5 years in 11th grade, and like a mix of other grades in the other years of my career. So these are some things, especially for new teachers or people who are in education programs about to become teachers, that you may want to know, may want to think about, or you might have questions. And if you do, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below. So let's get started. The first thing that I wish I knew, which I kind of had an idea, but I guess I didn't really like believe it. You will work way past your exit time, or the time you leave the classroom. So my school day ends at 2:40. It's very, very, very rare that I even leave at 2:40. It's very rare that I won't have something to do past that time, that 2:40 time. So that's something that I just wish I had known, or had a better idea about, that unlike other jobs where you clock in, you clock out, you're done with your day, you go on, you live your life. That is not what teaching is like at all. You'll be lesson planning, you'll be grading, you'll be doing parent-teacher, you'll be doing tutoring, you'll be doing after-school clubs. So 98% of the time, I want to say that I'm either in my building past 2:40, or I'm doing something school teaching related after my workday has officially ended. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I wish I knew, lesson planning is hard. When I decided I wanted to be a teacher, I'm not gonna lie, I used all of the teacher like movies and shows to kind of help formulate this idea in my head of what I thought teaching was gonna be.
You don't feel respected. Is that what you're saying, Ava? Well, maybe you're not. But to get respect, you have to give it.
I will not carry myself down to die. When I go to my grave, my head will be high. That is a choice. There are no victims in this classroom.
And I thought I was going to make these fantastic lessons and just have the kids doing all these amazing things that I saw in like Dangerous Minds or like Lean on Me or Freedom Writers. And you can absolutely do that. And I try my very best to actually do lessons and lesson plans that are beyond just, me standing in front of a classroom talking and the students sitting there like just listening and writing notes, because that's boring for myself as well and the student. But the thing is, those types of lessons don't just come out of thin air, and they don't just, get done and created and you just move on and you're doing all these spectacular classes. They take a lot of work, and lesson planning eats up a whole chunk of my personal life. Teaching will eat up a whole chunk of your personal life if you allow it to. You have to set kind of barriers or borders or parameters, whatever, to make sure you're not losing your mind. But lesson planning definitely throughout the week, if I want to say 5 or 6 days, because sometimes I work on the weekends to make sure that I'm ready for Monday. Probably I'm lesson planning maybe 20 to 30 hours a week. When I was in my younger age or younger time, it took me so long to write lessons. And now that I've kind of gotten better at it, and it's just, I've figured out how to kind of do it in a quicker format and make sure I get all my standards and all of that objectives in a quicker time, it still takes me sometimes 15 to 20 hours in a week. And it's not every single week. It's, if I'm doing a new unit plan or a book I've never taught or something different, it'll take me time, to write one lesson could take me 2 to 3 hours. And if I'm doing 5 lessons a week, or if I have 2 different classes where I have 10 different lessons a week, you can imagine that it could go up to 20 hours in a week. So that's something that I wish I knew. Number 3, you will become a master at using the bathroom in quick speeds. My friends really make jokes a lot when we go like on vacation or when we go to like concerts or things, and like I'm in and out of that bathroom so fast, because that's essentially if you're teaching and you have like 3 or 4 blocks of teaching and you get like another teacher to come in and cover your room because you have to, go use the bathroom, you don't want to take up too much of their time. So you kind of just really learn to train yourself to either like use the bathroom during your prep periods or your lunch periods so you're not going in the middle of your class time, or you learn to like run. Even if you're not going in the middle of your class time, I've been like grading, lesson planning during lunch, during my prep periods, and like I don't want to spend a long time in the bathroom because I have 70 million other things to do. So you will become a master of that. It's not even something it's just something you need to know that your body will just figure out so quickly that you don't have time to waste in the bathroom. So that's what you need to know. Number 4, no one will understand what you do. People kind of get wrapped up in the whole like, oh, you get summers off and you get weekends off and you get all the holidays off. And it's like, yeah, cool. That's because, the kids aren't actually in school at those times. So it would be pointless for me to be at work if the kids aren't there. But beyond the fact that people just seem to think that I just get to hang out all summer and hang out all weekends and holidays, no one understands that you're pretty much a social worker, you're a mom, you're a sister, you're a shoulder to cry on. You are 70 million different things. You wear all these different hats. You have to deal with administration, you have to deal with parents, you have to deal with other teachers. It's a lot of things you have to do and still be on your A game all the time in the classroom. And it's hard to explain that to someone if they haven't experienced it, because for the most part, a lot of the population has just been on one side of the desk, right? They've been the student. So when you shift, because I had to learn a lot of things about teaching as well, when you shift to the other side of the desk and you become the teacher, you kind of formulate relationships and friendships with other teachers, or like teachers in your building or other teachers elsewhere, because they understand what you've gone through in that crazy day, first day of school. Number 5 kind of goes into number 4, or 4 goes, whatever. I didn't really realize, I guess because the movies and your education classes and all that, they paint a kind of picture of teaching one way, and then you go into the classroom and you learn that it's nothing like that picture. You are pretty much everything to everyone at one time. That's the best way for me to describe teaching. You become everybody's everything at one time. So one kid needs you to explain something, another kid is crying in the corner, another kid is going through a really big breakup, and all of these things, they're draining sometimes, and you go home with like a headache, like, oh my God, I've just dealt with 70 million things, and you have to lesson plan and go back in and do it the next day. So like I said, you will become a social worker, you'll become the parent, you'll become the sister, you'll become the best friend, you'll become the teacher, you'll become everything to these kids at one point and for 10 months at a time. And my favorite part about doing that is like you give all your everything you got, and then September comes and you see that kid in the hallway and you're like, hey, and they ignore you and walk by you without saying hi, even though you like saved their lives 70 billion times last year. But it's cool. So that's just something you can anticipate. Number 6, remember, especially because I teach high school, remember that nothing should be taken personal. It's hard because we are human, but the kids are human, your principals are human, your guidance counselors are human, social workers are human. So we all have bad days, we all have good days. And I can't tell you how many times that I've worked really hard on a lesson, or I've worked really hard on an activity, or I've worked really hard on a PD to lead for my colleagues, and they'll be on their phones the whole time and not paying attention, or my copies weren't made when I come in, so like throws my lesson completely off, or a kid will tell you, this lesson sucks. and you're just like, but I didn't sleep so I can make this lesson perfect for you and change your life. And adolescents really don't care about that, and they don't mean to be selfish. We've all been there. Adolescent times are difficult. So it's really important that as a teacher you learn to not take things personal. And it's hard, but you just have to try really hard not to take things personal. Number 7, you'll become a master at fundraising. So when I started teaching, I worked in a Title I school. Title I schools are schools that get funding because they are in poorer neighborhoods or have more students or a certain percentage of students that fit into a certain lower socioeconomic background. So they group those schools into Title I schools. And usually they get more funding, but it's never enough. So I would go on Donors Choose to get things donated. I would fundraise to get their prom in a really cool place for them so they can go on senior trips, so they can go visit colleges. So it's not just that. You will learn how to get sales at Target, to get sales on Amazon, to go to all these different places so you can decorate your room and get people, students, loose leaf and pens and crayons and all these things. No matter what grade you're teaching, your brain will automatically figure out how to get the most for the least amount of money. Because 1, we don't make a lot of money. That's just common knowledge. And 2, your students need these things and you don't want them to go without. Number 8, parent-teacher conference sucks. And it sucks for everyone. For the parent who has to come in because they don't really want to come in. I mean, some do, most don't. The kid who, even if they're really good, they don't know why they have to come into parent-teacher. If they're really not so good, they don't want to be there, so you don't tell their parents that they're not so good. And then you, who has to teach all day and then entertain parents all night. And then come to work the next day and do it again. So parent-teacher is not going to be fun. There is not a teacher on this planet that enjoys it. It's a very long day, but we do what we have to do in order to kind of build a community, right? It takes a village. So parent involvement, parent engagement is very important to make sure the school is functioning well. So we stay and we put on that smile every year. And it sucks. All right, number 9. It's kind of like a conglomerate thing that I really, really wish I knew. And it's something that I've struggled the most with being a teacher every single year, especially this year. You become an actress. And if you're a boy, an actor. Your personal life really has no place in the classroom because you are on, right? The minute you walk in, you have to teach. You have to interact with your administrator. You might be getting an observation. Those are always my favorite, right? You're getting an observation when you've had an argument with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your husband or wife. And now you have to come in and pretend like nothing is wrong and help people and do things you don't want to do because you just want to stay home and, cry in a corner, or just you're sick and you still came in because you wanted to prepare them for Regents exams. It's really difficult. And I think it's the most difficult thing that I learned and wish I knew before becoming a teacher. You have to put all of your personal life to the side when you walk in that building. And it's hard. There's been countless amount of times where I've been having like a really bad day and I've gone to the bathroom during like a break, cried it all out, and gone back and taught about like a raisin in the sun. It'll get better. It always does. And number 10... the last thing that I wish I knew before I became a teacher, and I kind of knew a little bit from like Dangerous Minds and all those really cool movies, you have to, at the very least, like your job, like this job. It's better if you love it or have a passion for it because it gets so hard. And you will have days where your admin tells you you're terrible. You will have days where kids and parents are just dumping all of this like annoying stuff down on you. And you have to find a reason or a way or something that reminds you why you're doing this, because we know it's not the pay. And some days are harder than others, for me especially, but you have to find something that keeps you grounded in the reason why you love this job or like this job. Because if you don't, it's going to be really, really, really hard days for you. It's going to be almost impossible to get through, and you need to kind of have something always. So I have like a wall behind me at work with like my friends and family on it, and like my dog. And you know, whenever like times are really hard, like I'll turn, I'll look at it, and I'll remember like, okay, there's a goal here. I have like former students on that wall. And it's just, you have to keep going with that thing in your mind that got you started in this career in the first place, because it's a very thankless job. It's a thankless career. People aren't going to throw flowers at your feet and tell you how amazing you are all the time. You'll be lucky if you get a thank you. So you have to be the driving force behind yourself. And in doing so, your kids will have that same approach in the classroom. So you want to show the kids that you like them. You like coming in, teaching them. You like talking to them. You like building relationships with them, because if you don't, they're going to drive you crazy. And they're 16, 17 years old. They don't care if they're driving you crazy. So find something that keeps you grounded in this crazy, crazy job, and you'll be fine. And that's it. I'm out. Bye!